Hello, everyone. The book that I would like to recommend today is this is the book Mystical Tales from Magical Life, and why I would like to recommend this book is that it has not just interesting stories, but it's full of life-inspiring lessons. This book has actually got close to around 11 chapters, and each is divided based on a theme. And I just covered a few of the themes here. But before I get into the theme part of it, what I would like to share is this is not something that you can, it's something that is something that can be shared only with children or something of that sort. I found pleasure in narrating the story to my son, and it's the same amount of pleasure that I got when I was sharing the story with my mom, with my aunt, with nieces. So you first read the story for the thrill of it, because this olden day stories, ancient stories have the fantasy aspect of it. So it looks as though you're going on an adventurous trip. But the second part of it is also there's so much of wisdom hidden in every bit of the story. So though it is actually divided into 11 chapters, each of those 11 chapters at least have 3 to 4 stories. So that makes it like 33 odd stories that you can actually get out of it, and there's so much of learning. So the first one is the priceless gifts and filthy packages. There's an interesting story there based on which actually the lesson that you can get out of it is you can either stay holding on to your comforts and be forever a bud, or take the risk of exploring the impossible and blossom into a flower. So this is something that really touched me. There are many such wisdom that you get, but this is something that really touched me. So I'm just sharing a couple of things that I like the most from the book. Forgiveness brings solace to the forgiven and ushers in growth for the forgiver. And I think we all play the role both ways, right? And when it comes to courage and compassion make a hero, there's a story on that where when you give with compassion, you gain in satisfaction. You can choose to either share what you have in time or lose what you have with time. How profound is that? And when it comes to, again, the second thing, this is actually a gem. A jeweler can recognize the qualities of a jewel, but a wise man can recognize jewel-like qualities in anyone. Your eyes are oriented to zoom into details in accordance with your expertise. This is contentment contention. So there's a story on contentment, satisfaction, and how we can derive happiness out of it. Smiling while being cursed is like a candle being lit in darkness. We're all put into difficult situations at various points in time. And sometimes we wouldn't even like the words that are uttered by people whom we come across. And this was such a nice lesson on smiling while being cursed is like a candle being lit in darkness. The second one is on focus. What do we want to focus? What is important for us? If we focus on happiness, there will be enough reasons to be unhappy in life because it depends on your transaction with others. Whereas if you focus on satisfaction, where you know what the purpose is, then there will be enough reasons to be content because it depends on the dialogue that you have with yourself, because you know what you want and it's not going to be transaction. The last one is perfect devotion. Each weird behavior. Now I have a story, which is a very interesting story that I would like to narrate. And this is the last bit of the presentation. So each weird behavior has a weird story, history or her story. It's history, his story or her story. And when you spot weird behavior, make sure to look out for the weird story. That's very true, right? Many times we find people to be behaving weirdly. If you go deep, you can actually get the story. And once you get to know the story, you have a totally different perspective that you would initially not thought through at all, or you didn't because you never tried to understand. That's a beautiful one. And when you are in pursuit of satisfying everyone in the world, this is for all of us. I think all of us play different roles and we try to pursue so many things with everyone. We want to satisfy everyone around us in the world. We leave ourselves highly dissatisfied. There are many times that we think that, many times I carry a guilt. Am I a good mother? Am I a good wife? Am I a good daughter? When pleasing everyone makes you exhausted, take a break and please yourself. It's good that if you please yourself, you will definitely be in a position to please others. So start from there. Story on this perfect devotion. It comes in the chapter called Perfect Devotion on the weird behavior. It goes back to the times when Ashwamedha Yagya. So this was after the Mahabharata war, when Arjuna was actually going along with the soldiers. And he was actually having Yudhishthira's horse, and Yudhishthira's horse was made to go from one kingdom to another as part of the Ashwamedha Yagya. And during that time, they came to a place, and all of a sudden, the horse turned into a rock. It just became a statue. It got just stuck, and it turned into a non-movable thing. And now this was very curious for Arjuna, because first the rock was on closer inspection, Arjuna found out that the rock is very different. The rock was actually having a very different texture, and it was not just having a different texture, it was also 8 miles long. So Arjuna was wondering, this place seems to be a little different. First of all, let's actually understand there cannot be a rock that can actually transform the horse into an unmovable thing. So let's actually go and see what is happening. So he told his soldiers, can you all go inside the forest? Let's actually explore this place, because this seems to be really mystical. There should be something very extraordinary here. So the soldiers went in all directions, and Arjuna also started going in different directions. And what they found out was that in that forest, actually you could see that the tigress was licking a calf. And then you could see a rat scratching its back against a cat's teeth. And then they could see owls and crows during the daytime flying together. And then they could see a snake coiling around mongoose and being happy. So everybody was stunned, and soldiers came running to Arjuna and they said, you are right, this place is mystical. And Arjuna went back and he saw all of this, and he was really surprised, and he found out he was wondering how could the predators can coexist in such peace and harmony that they're all together. This can never happen, and this has never happened anywhere else. So he went inside the forest and he found out that this was actually a place where there was another Rishi there. And the moment he saw Rishi's face, he did speak to him, and he found out that based on, the grace of that Rishi, the place was actually very pious, and the predators were able to live in harmony. So he wanted to know the mystery or the magical tale behind it, and how Rishi was able to make this happen, and how can predators coexist with their own prey. So he asked Rishi, how is that this is made possible? And then the Rishi narrated a very hilarious story. This goes back to another story in this book, where there is this Rishi called Uddalaka. And Uddalaka is just now got married to his wife, and in those days, generally they get married very early. And Uddalaka's wife's name was Chandi. So Chandi and Uddalaka got married, and at the end of the marriage, what happened was the priest bless, right? So when they bless, they say that Chandi, now that you're married, just stay obedient to your husband. That was one of the blessings that she received from the priest. The moment Chandi heard the priest blessing her this way, she said, I'm not going to listen to anybody. I won't be obedient to my husband. This was her response. And Uddalaka was taken aback, because he never expected that his wife would say something like that. And so he was wondering, what's happening? Doesn't she like me? Why is she talking? And then all the priests around Uddalaka on the day of the marriage, they wanted to console. Now that the marriage has happened, they'll have to console, right? So they said, okay, it's nice. She is very young. Maybe she needs some time. So give her some time. She'll get the maturity and all will be fine. And so Uddalaka believed, okay, so the great rishis are telling that one day I think this is going to happen. So she's going to be okay. And they moved. The priest left. And Uddalaka started living with his wife. But day by day, Chandi was going worse, and it was nothing was changing. Uddalaka was saying, I'm going to do the fire sacrifice because I want to have the wisest children in the world. Can you just help me with the fire sacrifice? Chandi goes, no, I don't want to help you. I don't even want children. Forget about me helping you have fire sacrifice. Uddalaka was like, okay, so let's not do that. And then one day he goes saying that, now Chandi, I'm going to go out. Can you bring my kamandalu? Kamandalu is something that the rishis carry. It's the pot, right? The clay pot in which water is filled in. So he asked, Chandi, can you help me bring the kamandalu? Bang, she goes. She takes the kamandalu, throws it. Gone. Kamandalu is gone. And Uddalaka is like, oh my God, what's happening? How can Chandi do this? So Uddalaka is really, really worried. Now he doesn't know what to do. Then he's been thinking, and then there is another Rishi who visits Uddalaka one day. It is his friend. He is Rishi Kaundinya. So Rishi Kaundinya comes and he visits Uddalaka, and within few minutes, he could see the equation between husband and wife. When somebody comes, you get to know whether, the house is in good atmosphere, whether everybody is happy, right? So he kind of understands the equation, and he's like, okay, something is going wrong, and he gives a golden piece of advice to Uddalaka. So what happens is, Chandi comes, and Uddalaka has got the golden piece of advice. So Uddalaka says, you know something? Rishi Kaundinya came. He is going to come back again tomorrow. But you know what? I'm not going to let him inside at all. I'm just going to shoo him away. And Pat comes the reply from Chandi, oh, he is such a great Rishi. How can you actually ask him to, how can you shoo him away? He has to be let in, and I will make the best of food for him, and I will make sure that he is taken care so well. Uddalaka now understands that the golden advice which Rishi Kaundinya has given has worked. So next day, Chandi takes care of Rishi Kaundinya so much, and then goes, as the days pass, then Uddalaka comes and says, my father's death anniversary is coming this year, which is tomorrow. I don't want to do any rituals this time. I'm tired, so I'm not going to do anything. And then Chandi says, how can you tell that? My father-in-law is the greatest person that I ever know. I'll have to make all the arrangement. You just wait and see how I'm going to take care of everything. And she does everything so beautifully. And thus goes the story. And so Uddalaka now understands that for anything to happen, he has to tell the opposite. So if he says this, his wife is going to do that. And if he says that, wife is going to do this. So he found out what should he actually say. But in the process, many days, many years pass. He totally forgets. Now that everything is going so well, he forgets that he has to tell the opposite. So one day, because he has always thought his wife does all the right things, so he forgets, and in the spur of the moment, he says, please remove the flowers that has been given to the deity. You're supposed to throw the flowers only in the river, not anywhere else, not in the dustbin. Those days, they don't use dustbin to remove the flowers and throw it. They throw it in the river or leave it in the garden so that it becomes a natural fertilizer. So Uddalaka forgot about the important advice. What should he tell? He should actually tell the opposite to her. She took it literally. She said, okay, so you want this to be thrown into the river? I will throw it in the dustbin. So she went and threw the flowers in the dustbin. So when she threw the flowers in dustbin, that's the time when Uddalaka lost his temper for the first time after so many years. He lost it and he said, I am going to give you a curse. You are so insensitive to whatever I say, and always you are thinking about yourself. You go and turn into a rock. And that is when Chandi turned into a rock. But he later immediately realized that it was also his mistake. He didn't know. He forgot the golden advice. And it was his anger that led him to give such a big curse to his own wife. So he made an amendment saying that when Arjuna comes and touches you, you will turn back into the person that you are. And this is the story that the Rishi, his name is Rishi Saubari, narrated the story to Arjuna and to make Arjuna touch the rock so that Chandi can turn back into Chandi. So this is the whole story. And after this, Arjuna goes and touches the rock. Chandi comes back. She understands by being a rock for many years how bad it is to be insensitive to others. And Uddalaka also understands that he should remember what his Guru had told him.